All right. Welcome to Inside the Grind podcast, the podcast for people building real coffee shops. Every episode, we sit down with someone who's deep in the day to day, hiring, fixing, worrying, making hard choices, and still showing up to serve. These are honest stories from founders in the thick of it. No fluff, no ego, just the real grind and what's getting them through. If you're building something on your blog, this one's for you. Brought to you by Coffee Futures Fund. You know, something I made a note that you said is decision fatigue, because there's so many decisions as an owner that you have to take. One decision being, when is the right time to seek guidance or support? So on that front, when is the right time, right, for an owner to realize that, hey, yes, I think, I have heard Leila enough, I know her enough, I have this trust. So let me reach out to her to actually actively support my business. So when's the right time?
I think the right time is very different for every person, but there's a number of things that might be that situation. Oftentimes, it's the right time when you feel like you have tapped out every resource that you have at your fingertips, all the free resources and support that you can get, but you're just not, there's a skill set or information that you need that you don't have access to. And so you need that expertise added in. So if you are going to start roasting and you've researched online about every single thing, but you're like, you know what, I just can't make a big decision without first talking to an expert about what type of roaster I should buy or something like that. You might want to pull in an expert that can give you sound advice. Because what happened in those situations is you might make, again, decision fatigue, but you make a big decision and then you later find out, I bought a roaster way bigger than I needed to. It's costing me a ton of money. Where if I would have paid a consultant for even an hour of their time to answer that question for me, I could have saved myself thousands of dollars. So understanding sort of the ROI on some of those things of how much is this going to cost me, but how much is it going to save me? The other thing was when you do financially have the time, when you have an excess of finances that you might realize like, hey, I have this extra money. What am I going to use it? Do I need to buy new equipment, or could I hire a consultant to help me with some things that are going to take me to the next level? I really need that support. I hope it doesn't come to this, but sometimes there's like, if this is your last resort, you are failing, and that is common. It's an unfortunate situation when you get to someone and it's almost too late. I don't think it's necessarily like too late ever to hire someone, but sometimes you have to. You're like, I don't know what to do and I need the support, and I maybe can't even financially afford to do it. But if I don't do it, I know I'm going to fail. So this is where I'm going to make a decision to get involved. When your time is completely tapped out, you're doing everything you possibly can. There's still a huge portion of work that needs to get done, but you don't have the team members or the time to do it yourself. So you outsource it. Outsourcing is something that I think is really important, especially as you grow your business. I'm going to speak about myself. I'm running two businesses. I've got 3 little kids. I'm traveling all the time, and my house is a disaster. And every time I look around, I'm like, my house is so messy and it's stressing me out. I just don't have time to clean it. Yeah. That's when I'm going to hire a house cleaner, because I don't have any more time. And my time might be more valuable than it is to hire someone. So if I'm going to spend 3 hours of my time cleaning the house and it's stressing me out, not getting the other stuff done, when I could just hire someone to do it for me, then I'm going to take that opportunity. So I think in anybody who's growing a business, there's going to be a time when you need to outsource it. I'm currently doing our social media, but I would love to outsource that. It's not at a place, I've run the numbers, and it's not at a place where my time is better used somewhere else. But I know what that number is now. And when I feel like my time would be better used somewhere else, then I'll start to outsource that sort of skill set, right? So I think there's a lot of different reasons why someone would bring someone in. Oftentimes, one of the easiest places, if you're someone who wants to open up a coffee shop, hiring a consultant from the very, very start to help you not make a lot of mistakes is a really great time. If you could start that off in the beginning, build a relationship with someone, they help you answer a lot of your initial questions. I know it will save you money. I literally will have one conversation with someone and I'm like, that just paid for everything. You were going to make a terrible decision. I just saved you tons of money. Like, you just paid for this. And it can speed things up. That's the other side of things that I think will become key with a consultant is, if this is going to take me a year because I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and I just don't have the skill set, but if I hire a consultant, it's done in 2 months. That is, again, you think about the money that you save by executing something in much quicker than if you waited the year it's going to take you to get that done. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things. I always think about ROI, like, when is the return on this investment? And if it feels like the return on investment is immediately or very, very quickly, then you should be doing it.
That's very true. And interestingly that you said ROI, because ROI is not only in terms of the money, because yes, you're putting in the money, so you want good returns, but also in terms of the time. Because like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you gave certain examples where you just don't have the time, or even if you have the time, like social media in your case, you would much rather use that time in
Yeah.
something more productive. So I think that's a piece where I observed small owners not really focusing. They're not giving a value to their time. It's they're looking at the dollars. They're like, okay, can I save the dollars here? Let me do that. What about the time that I'll put in additionally to solve the work or to do the work? So I think that's a mindset shift that you have to bring
Big
in.
time. Yeah.
What has provided you a lot of personal satisfaction outside of what we have discussed already in terms of your journey consulting and providing guidance to others? Does something come to your mind specifically that, hey, this really provided me a lot of satisfaction, or on a daily basis it does provide me a lot of satisfaction?
Yeah, so for me, I've been in specialty coffee for about 20 years working in it, but obviously grew up in it. And one of the things that I learned very deeply from my father is how important community is. The coffee shops that he ran in downtown Seattle were all the working people in the area, and they came in every single day, and he knew every single person's name, and all of those relationships resulted in other opportunities for new locations or catering or whatever it might be. And so he was always connecting with people and built some incredible relationships by doing that. On top of that, beyond just building community within the Seattle area, he also was building community within the Iranian community. And he started an organization called the Iranian-American Community Organization, and they helped first generation Iranians connect with other Iranians, whether that was growing their careers or just community and connection, and puts on the Iranian Festival in Seattle. That organization still does. And I was always around community, and there was always someone to step in and support. And there was always opportunity because of that. That's how I grew up. And so that was what I brought into specialty coffee. As soon as I joined in, I went to school for education. I thought I was going to be a teacher, fell in love with coffee, and decided like, this is now my whole personality. And I'm going in 100%. I don't do anything less than 100%. So once I was like, coffee's my thing, coffee was my thing. And I jumped in, and that became coffee competitions. That became the Specialty Coffee Association, the Barista Guild, and putting on community events, connecting with the greater coffee community. And that investment into the specialty coffee industry has paid back dividends over the course of my career. And that is something I find really, really important. And it's not I'm going to get something out of it. This is why I'm doing it. I am excited to participate and support and be involved. And what I know is that this is an investment. This is me saying, I care about this and I want it to be better. And that better actually supports me, because as the specialty coffee industry grows, then my business grows and my network grows and everything, kind of follows there. And so it's a little bit of a safety net in some ways. Like when I need this, it's going to be there for me because I put so much effort and goodwill into it that when it's my turn, that I know people are going to rally around me. And that's really exciting. I actually just spoke with the owners of Dune Coffee, and I was chatting with them about, that Kay just won the US Barista competition. And Dune has been one of those roasters that has been such an awesome part of the specialty coffee community, just always a positive brand, always participating in events, just a really like a great light of positivity in our industry in like such a good way, and really representing specialty coffee and like how to run businesses in a way that is positive for the community and positive for the employees. And so now that they won, that K won, and they get to be in that spotlight, it's like, this is when you cash in on all that goodwill. Like that's really, I believe that, because you have done so much good work. Everyone's excited for you. Everyone's rallying around you. And so, I really, what gives me a lot of like satisfaction from what I do is that I feel that I've learned so much from this industry. I have gotten so much mentorship. Part of that is because I've invested so much, but that has fueled me and given me the opportunities that I want and that I needed. And it's got me to where I am now. And I want to continue to help and create those opportunities forever and ever. One of our sort of values as a business is to essentially be a stepping stone. I know I spoke with Olympia Coffee Roasters at one point, and they were talking about how they love, like, it's a positive thing for their business for a great barista, great employee to move on. Because what it shows is that now there's somebody out there in the world who's like, you know where I learned everything? Olympia Coffee Roasters. They were an incredible company to work for. I'm always rooting for them. And now I'm growing my career and I'm going to be this cheerleader for that brand. I feel that way about Stumptown Coffee Roasters now that I've been gone. They were such an amazing work environment for me. I grew my career there. I'm always going to be a fan of theirs. And it's a positive because I'm out here being like, you know, it was really great. It's Stumptown Coffee Roasters. So we want to be that same thing at Gilder where we invest in our team. And it's not, when someone leaves, it's not like, well, we just lost that investment. It's like that investment is growing now. That investment is moving on and it's continuing its trajectory. And it actually still benefits us, even though they're not with our company anymore. So those things where I get to see somebody work with me and then take their career to the next thing or their business to the next steps, that is where I get the most satisfaction, is seeing other people grow and be successful. Again, I grew up in a family of business owners and I know how much work this is. I know how much stress and anxiety and financial stress that you're under, and like your entire livelihood and your family are all depending on this thing. And I want people who take that step to go in the direction of owning a business. If you're going to do this, you have to have grit. I don't believe that there is anything more challenging than being a small business owner, because you have so many uncertainties and everything's on your shoulders and you're stepping into the unknown. I mean, especially coffee right now is just a world of unknown, and you have to just have faith and grit to make this happen. And I want you to be successful because you are someone who is working hard towards something big, and I want you to be successful. And so if I can be that support, like that's what gets me excited, is helping people kind of live out and achieve their dreams.
And also, especially the way you say, I want to be the stepping stone,
Mm-hmm.
that means a lot, right? What comes to your mind when you want to advise someone to think about
Like
community?
starting a,
Being a value additive member in the community,
mm,
right? I oftentimes have people asking me, okay, I want to create a community. I talk to so many coffee shop owners, and majority of the times the thing is, we want to build a community here in our neighborhood, in our city. And then I ask them, okay, how are you really doing it? And then they don't have a great answer. Sometimes they do
oh yeah.
alone, sometimes they don't, but they don't really have a great answer in terms of really being that value additive member of the community to create
Mm.
that community.
So I would get involved in like a myriad of different ways. Right now, I will say I'm sort of shifting my focus. I started my career and I was really focused on the specialty coffee industry, and I still am. But now as a business owner, where I'm trying to build community and connection is actually in the small business entrepreneur community of Portland, since that's where I'm based. And so I'm actually in a new world. Like I know some people, but I don't know a lot of people. I'm new to small business ownership. I'm not new to Portland, but this is sort of new to me. So I'm sort of back in that beginning of like, how do I get involved? How do I get connected? And again, as an introvert, it's actually very challenging for me to like show up to the things and build community, but I'm forcing myself to do it because I know that's how you do it. You do not build community by not putting yourself into that community. So you have to show up and you have to be there. First and foremost, it's supporting other people. So looking on social media and seeing what's going on. Is there a pop-up for someone else? Is there a plant sale? Is there a bake sale? Is there whatever? Go out and support what your community is already doing. Show up and support your community. Before you make community, support the community you're already in. Okay. So the easy path here, right, is to just support what's already happening. So if you're in a neighborhood, what's going on in that neighborhood, go to the farmers markets and buy stuff from there and talk to people and meet them and say, hi, I own this coffee shop down the street. And you're connecting with people in your community. You're going to their bake sale and their plant sale and whatever, and you're investing some money into your local community, but you're using it as an opportunity to connect with people. And then as you're doing that, you seek opportunity to get yourself involved in that community. Hey, next time you're hosting an event, I own the coffee shop down the street. If you want to host something in my space, I'll give you the space for free, as a way to sort of get involved in that process. Giving your space for free that you're already paying rent on and so on is a really easy entry level. As an example, I have someone in my community who she puts on events all the time. And I was like, I chatted with her, got to know her as a customer. And I was like, anytime you want to use my space, we close at 3:00. If you want it after hours, just let me know. host your events here so that you start to bring your community in and they see this as a space that they feel welcome and safe in. And that has been a really easy way that cost me absolutely no money to get involved into the community. And then you start to again look at bigger stuff. Where within coffee or small business entrepreneurship, what's going on and how do you get involved? You might show up to an event and there's 200 people there and you're very shy and you don't want to talk to people, but at least just sit and talk to the person that you're sitting next to at the event. Introduce yourself. What's their name? Get their contact. I went to an event recently where I was standing at a table pretty much by myself until I saw a couple people I knew. And I was like, I am that weirdo who's standing here all by myself and everybody else is talking to each other. And I feel very uncomfortable. Within minutes, I started to talk to people and got connected. And I walked away with like 3 people's phone numbers who were important people for me to connect with, even though that is not my natural state. So I just believe you kind of just got to put yourself out there and try and do it and see what works for you and what you're willing, what you can. Like, obviously, like not everyone is going to be able to do that. And I also live in a big city. And so smaller towns might not be able to, aren't going to have as many opportunities, but try and find the community that's already there, connect yourself with it, and then you can sort of involve yourself and fold into it would be the easiest way to get involved.
Yeah. These are some great, actionable tips because, I mean, I can't imagine anyone listening to this and saying that, hey, how do I really do it? No, you have this is exactly how you do it. No, that's really meaningful. From experience, I can say this. Whoever's going to a networking event, 100% of the people are sort of, having that awkwardness, that inertia that, hey, should I go out and talk to this person? Should I make an introduction? And I think people think too much about, okay, what do I say? How do I say it? I am not a fan of small talks or whatnot. It's just, and should I have an agenda? Should I have an ask? It's nothing like that. You just show up, like you said,
Yeah.
use yourself, and that's it.
Yeah. Really feel like you don't know what to say. Like you can Google a couple questions ahead of time just to be like, what are some good questions to get you started? Because people like to be asked about themselves, right? That's one of the best ways to get in there is like, what do you do? Where are you from? Tell me about yourself. I'd love to hear your story. And then that will just kind of naturally start to build a relationship. I think there's a storyline about, this idea of when there's someone in the room and they're talking. I don't know the actual story here, but I'm going to just go with it. But use like, wow, this was the most interesting person. They had so much to say. And like, I just sat there and listened to them. They were the most interesting person in the room. And then there's the other side of it where someone asks you lots of questions. And after you're done with it, you're like, wow, I feel like I was the most interesting person in the room. Yeah. And so when you feel like you can't be the person who's taking up space and talking because you're sort of shy, well, then make everybody else feel like they're the most interesting person in the room by asking them questions. That's a great way to start building a relationship without needing to necessarily know what to say. Just ask them questions.
It takes the pressure off. Yes, all right.
Yeah.
Love how you make it so simple that, why not? What's the difficult part in this? That's cool. That's it for this episode of Inside the Grind. If something here helped, make sure to subscribe and pass it to another coffee shop or a friend. We all need each other more than we admit. To learn more or join the community, head to coffeefutures.fun. This movement is just getting started. Until next time, keep growing. Your shop matters more than you know.